my name is Susie from Stitch with Susie, and this is my very first FLOSSTUBE video. I hope you will enjoy the ride. I am a designer, a cross-stitch designer, but also a very keen stitcher, of course. And I really hope to share a little bit more of my passion, my pleasure in stitching and in designing with you. So first of all, I really want to introduce myself a little bit. I've watched other FLOSSTUBE videos and came across the I really like that because I think it's really important to kind of know a little bit more of the background of somebody who's maybe showing kind of something on FLOSSTUBE, and I think it's just really interesting anyway. So I've made some notes because I'm just always afraid of forgetting things. So if I'm looking down, that's what it is. It's my cheat sheet. So first of all, where do you live? Now, I right now live in Ashford in Kent, in England, but I was born and brought up in France to British parents, and I've lived in Germany, I've lived in Ukraine, so I'm British on my passport. I'm also French because I was born in France, so I also have a French passport, but where we live is not necessarily where home is. It's where we are as a family. So, what do I do for a living? I'm actually a professional librarian. I qualified in January 2020, just before the pandemic, and there were no jobs. So I decided to develop Stitch with Susie. And I'd already been running Stitch with Susie for about 3 years, just selling patterns on, cross-stitch patterns on Etsy. Then, with the pandemic, like the other half of the world, I decided to kind of expand the business and go into cross-stitch kits. Now, so this was in April 2020, so I really threw myself into it. I took some of the patterns that I had and made them into kits and started selling them as kits, and then I gradually decided to design other kits, and I've never really stopped since. I've just kind of really tried to find my voice, my style. You can call it whatever you want, but I just really, I'm developing, I'm learning about design, I'm learning about color theory and all those kind of things. So it's very much, a development, and I love it. I really love researching, sometimes just very spontaneously from I'll see some colours somewhere in a shop and it's like, oh, bang, there's a design. And so I'll put it together and all the colours together, and then that answers a design that I already had trotting in my head or in my sketchbook. So that's kind of what happened during the pandemic. And then just over a year and a couple of months ago, I applied for a job at a university in Canterbury, working in the library, not as a librarian, unfortunately. So that's my day job and then my business. So I'm part-time at the library and then part full-time, depends on the weeks, with Stitch with Susie business. Next question, do I have any children or am I married? Yes, I am married. We have 3 children. They are all adults, they've all left home, I'm an empty nester. The rest of my family live in France and in Italy, and the rest of my husband's family live in the States. So we're kind of a little bit international when it comes to kind of family and having lived in different places and so on. The next question is, do I have any other hobbies? Now I do. I do some regular embroidery, but I'm not super good at that. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the freedom of it. Yeah, just experimenting with colors. I love French knots. I'm a French knot mad person. And actually, I was going to show this as one of my works in progress, but this is a hoop that I am intending to fill with French knots. I don't know if you could see very well. This is all French knots, but this is for my sash. So kind of not old threads. It sounds really negative. Threads, spare threads, leftover thread. My rebel stash, I call it. So I do bits of embroidery. I also absolutely love making jams and chutneys and liqueurs. When we lived in Ukraine, we lived there for 5.5 years. It was a necessity to learn how to preserve food because the seasonality of things, especially the first 3 years when we moved there, you couldn't find fresh veg in the winter at all. Not where we live. Towards the end of our stay, we could. It was like, okay, I've got to feed the family in the winter, and so I learned to do a lot of preserves, and we also had a freezer, so that was easier. The one thing that I have brought back with me, and we've been back in the UK for 6 years now, has been jams, chutneys and liqueurs, and I really enjoy making those. I can gift them as well. I just enjoy that. Of course, eat them, have them ourselves, but share. Yeah, it's something that I can share with others. I don't know, there's just that pleasure of handling food and being able to eat it later. So that's another kind of hobby of mine. I like doing a little bit of gardening as well. I'm not a great gardener. I love flowers. I love daffodils especially. I love geraniums. Don't ask me to get too complicated. I really enjoyed vegetable gardening. That was especially in Ukraine because, again, that was necessary. So we grew a lot of our own veg. And I haven't really done it here. The climate is different. The soil where we live is just not that great. And I've done it in pots, but it's not been very successful. So I stick to flowers here, make the house, the front of the house pretty in the spring and summer with pots and so on. So that's as far as my gardening goes. Finally, reading. I'm a librarian. What else? I love audiobooks, Kindle books, real physical books. I love reading books out loud I used to do it, we all do it to our children, but when before I did my studies to become a librarian, I worked in a public library and I loved reading the stories to the children. We had a 20-minute slot. I was still there an hour later. So, but it was okay. I just love books and fiction, non-fiction, anything really. So yeah, so that's kind of another hobby. Next question. Favorite movie? One that I would watch at any time is Julie and Julia. It's about food. It's about writing. I just love it. I just love that going back and forth in time. So yeah. I would say that's my all-time favourite, and I'm happy to watch it on my own or whoever wants to join me. So that's it. There are loads of other movies that I love. I love the classics, and especially Jane Austen. I love thrillers, and there's kind of lots of different genres that I like. I love musicals as well, but an all-time favourite is Julie and Julia. So yeah, so that's it. I don't know if any other fans of Julie and Julia, just leave a message, a comment below, and we can have a little fan club. I don't know, I'm just being silly. Okay, so favourite TV show. We used to have TV. We no longer have TV. We watch Netflix. I really had to have a think, but I don't really have a favourite TV show. There were shows that I watched as a kid, and they were mostly American shows that were dubbed in French. But there's nothing really, like I said, I'll kind of watch series. I love thrillers, I love movies. Maybe the Poirot movies I could say, but I don't know if that's a TV show. I don't think it's a TV show. It was just a series. So I don't know. So I don't have a really got a favourite TV show. Favourite book. Now, that also made me, I really had to think. And again, I don't have one single favourite book, but I've enjoyed genres. So I love crime and thrillers, like Agatha Christie, surprise, surprise. But it can be, I like from, yeah, Agatha Christie right the way to Harlan Coben. It is really quite wide, and I like trying new books. I also like non-fiction books, and I've forgotten the title. You know what? I'll have to come back to you. It was about the father of Alexandre Dumas and kind of his history, a biography by Tom Rees. And oh, wow, that was absolutely amazing. But it was non-fiction, and it was very, very well written, and so I really enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it's my favourite book. I also like, and this is again a series of books that I really enjoyed, was Julie McElwain, the author, and she wrote a series of books about time traveling. These are novels, and it's an FBI agent who time travels back to, I think, the 17th, no, not 17th, 18th, 19th century, 18th or 19th century, thereabouts. Kendra Donovan, and I really, really enjoyed that. So kind of time traveling, except the time traveler's wife, which I really didn't get on with. I just couldn't. Anyway, I don't know. Any fans? Maybe I should give it another try, but I just didn't click with the book. I didn't click with the story. It didn't carry me on like like Kendra Donovan novels did. So yeah, and I think the reason also why I like time traveling is because it's got historical aspects, and I really, really enjoy history. I love history. I've always loved history. So yeah, so that's kind of my taste in books. Favorite music? Jazz. I love jazz, but I also love classical music, soft jazz, easy listening stuff. So I can put that on at any time, and that will just kind of help me to relax and concentrate on whatever I'm doing. So that's my favorite music. One word that best describes me, smiley. Actually, I wrote it down, but I didn't plan that one. Yeah, smiley. I like to smile. A smile changes everything, and also that's why I stitch, to put a smile on your head. That's my tagline: putting a smile on your face, one stitch at a time. So yeah, one word that would describe me is smiley. I think that would be the right thing. So before I continue and show you my whips, I think I've seen it called Whip Parade, or yeah, just to share what I'm doing, what I'm stitching at the moment. I just wanted to say just kind of a few of other FLOSSTUBERS that I've watched. I'm really wanting to discover more FLOSSTUBERs, and there are a few. Hello from Liz Matthews. I have really, really enjoyed her things. I think because she's also a designer, she doesn't just stitch, but she's a designer, and I've enjoyed the episodes where she is with her mom and all the dynamics of that. So I really enjoy Hello from Liz Matthews. Also Samantha, the Hygge, I don't know how to pronounce it, Hygge Stitcher? Hygge. It reminds me of boogie, so Hygge. So I just get very confused. So I often say Hygge. So anyway, Samantha, the Hygge Stitcher, really enjoy her beautiful stitching, the mermaids and the pixies, and she's just so warm-hearted, and she makes me smile. She really does makes me smile. So yes, so Samantha is another one, and then Joy-Filled Stitcher, and I am so sorry. If you do watch, if you come across my video, I can't remember your name, but I love your videos, and I really enjoy. Again, you make me smile, all the virtual hugs, and you know, it's just really, really lovely. There are more stitches, FLOSSTUBERS that I have watched, and I'm subscribing and kind of learning more. But if you have any suggestions, or if you are a floss tuber, please mention it in the comments below, so that I can follow you, I can discover you, and see more beautiful stitching that is going on around the world. I'm especially looking for people in Europe, because I haven't found many apart from the UK. If you know of any, please let me know. I really would love that. Now, I don't have that many works in progress, but I really wanted to share the few that I do have. Now, I mostly stitch on Aida. I've done a few bits on even weave, and I'm still kind of discovering you know, Murano and Belfast and the differences and so on. I know very little. I just love the feel of it, but I haven't used it that much. I'm very much of a newbie, or very simple with Aida at the moment, but I want to learn, I want to grow in that and understand more of the differences. So it's all kind of a journey, you know, a cross-stitch journey. I mentioned that I do embroidery. This is one that I am stitching at the moment. So I tried to give it a little stretch, but it's waves, and it's got French knots, and then just very simple back stitch, and then a running stitch here, and I think this is a split stitch around here. This is from Oh So Beautiful, and I'll put all the designers underneath in the comments. This one I really enjoy. I love blues, I love the waves, and I'm kind of building a few designs with waves. I'm not designing them. I've found some designs, and so kind of a collection of cross stitch and embroidery designs. So that's the first one, and this is Stormy Lighthouse by Punoshka on Etsy. If you have tips of how to do this better, I really would appreciate it. So this is it. This is the first part. Then it will have more waves all down here, and then waves on this side as well. So this is on a grey 16 count, and this is, I can't remember who I bought it from, but it's not 100% cotton. It's a mix of cotton and polyester, and I wasn't sure how it was going to work, but actually it has, I'm not that keen on sparkly Aida, but this has a sheen to it. It really works for this piece, and it's a light grey. I really like the blues on it, kind of against this colour. So yeah, so that's that one. I showed this one earlier, so this is kind of a long-term one, and I'm just hoping to kind of fill it in with rainbow, kind of all rainbowish, rainbowy type of colours with leftovers, and just fill it with French knots. And this is an old night dress of mine. So this is on t-shirt, kind of t-shirty, stretchy material, which actually I don't mind stitching on. It's quite bouncy, but I like it. And it's just really something that I don't have to think about. It's nothing planned, so quite like that one. Then the next one is from Owl Forest. I went on and I fell in love with her design. So you'll see quite a few of them because I've bought a few patterns. And this is the mushroom one. And now she stitched it on a linen, kind of cream, just natural linen. But I had this polka dot, and it's again, it's just a very light grey polka dot, 16 count Aida. And I I felt that maybe the design was a bit lost with the polka dots, but I'm really, really liking it. It gives it a very fresh and modern kind of a twist. So yeah, and I've got a blue polka dot and also a white with pink polka dots, which I'm really looking forward to using for a project at some point. So these are my little mushrooms. I've just got a few, I've kind of one here in the middle and then a bigger one here. And that is for my friend Abby. She doesn't watch FLOSSTUBE or anything, but it's for, so that's why I can say it. And yeah, I really, really like it. I'm not quite sure how I'll frame it, if I'll frame it or make it into a cushion, I don't know. I am rubbish, absolutely rubbish at finishing my project. I have got tons, which I'll show over time, of projects that are stitched, they're ironed, they're backed, everything is, and then it's in the cupboard, in that cupboard there. And I don't know what to do with them. I'd like to display them, and it's like I put all those hours of work in them. I just end up putting or leaving them in the cupboard. So any tips? I usually frame, and I have made a cushion once or twice, but I don't know. I really hope that is also something that I will be able to develop and learn more from you guys, what you do with your finished products, for finished cross stitches and all that. So that was the mushrooms. That's from Owl Forest. And then the last one, and I just literally pulled this out a couple of days ago. This is the Stitching Book Club Stitch Along of Little Women, but I'm still in the midst of it. So here we go. That's part 1 and 2, and then this here is the beginning of part 3. Yeah, and I like it. It was in May, June that it was started, and my dad had a stroke, and then he passed away at the end of July, and so that project kind of didn't get finished. And the other day I was just going through my project in preparation for this FLOSSTUBE episode, and I found it again, and I realized as well that I'd made a mistake. Oops, here. I'd made a mistake here. I'd just kind of stitched one too far, and I think that's probably why I just left it. Oh, I'll sort it out later. But I've corrected that now, and I'm just going to slowly stitch it. Now, I am terrible in one way that I'm always changing the stitches. So although I'm stitching it on Ada, I will do an Algerian stitch or French knot, and this is what I have done. So if I don't know, I'll try and do it a bit closer. On this border here at the top, and I've done it all. Instead of one cross, I've done a French knot, and these flowers here are also French knots. But then, of course, it was a mystery pattern, and this here is all the way down here. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to do French knots all the way around. So I might just do the green leaves all in cross stitch, and then just the flowers in French knots. I don't know yet. We'll see. And then these little trees as well. I'm just kind of here. These I've made in French knots, and I think they look really cute. So yeah. So that's my Little Women stitch along. So these are my works in progress. So I hope you enjoyed that. I have more projects, patterns that are ready to kind of start when I have finished. The two that I'm wanting to finish are the Owl Forest one with the mushrooms, and the Wave one, the Stormy Lighthouse. I just want to finish these two before starting any new projects. And I'm going to have to put my skates on, because on the 12th of February starts the Narnia Stitch Along, which I've bought the pattern, and I'm just really excited about it. So I want to finish these two, so that I can start that one and I'm going to try and follow it with the whole group. So I'm really excited about that. I have done, the only stitch-alongs that I have done have been with Stitching Book Club, and I started, the very first one that she did was Pride and Prejudice. It was 2.5 years ago, and that was the one piece that I was stitching during writing my master's dissertation. So it was a very positive thing and very kind of, yeah, the association between the two was fantastic. And then since then I have done Sense and Sensibility, Secret Garden, and the Little Women one, and now I'll be doing the Narnia, oh, and the Christmas Carol as well. There I just did the framing differently. I'll show you another time. I didn't finish the complete pattern, I only used part of it and I put it in a hoop, but I'll show you that another time. So that's it for the Whip Parade. Okay, so right now I'm so excited. I'm really excited because I'm going to share a few of my designs that I have done as kits, also available as patterns. So I have an Etsy shop, which is where I started in July 2017, so it's 4.5 years. I also have my own website, stitchwithsusie.com, Susie, SUSIE.com, and I'll put all the links below. But I just really wanted to, yeah, share with you some of the things that I have design. Anyway, so this is the first one that I put up. Now, all before I go on, hide it. All my designs, or kind of the majority of my designs, are for 5-inch hoops. I use bamboo hoops. I much prefer them to the wooden hoops. I find they're smoother and so on. So that's kind of what goes in my kits. 16 count Aida and DMC threads. So it's kind of very basic. I don't complicate it. I myself use, as I said earlier, mostly Aida and also DMC. I want to try silks. I want to try other types of threads. I've kind of been fairly content with DMC. You know, again, there's room for growth. So this was the very first design that went absolutely crazy. It's very simple. There's no backstitch, and this was a suggestion of a friend. Do beginners kits, and so it's Be a Flamingo in a flock of pigeons, and so it's, as I say, it's very, very simple, and it's been very popular both in the States and here in the UK. And I sent also some to Australia and just other parts of the world. So this is an all-time favourite, and it's just a fun design. Then, and this is one that I really also like. Never Too Many Chickens. We used to have 2 chickens when we lived in Ukraine. They laid eggs as and when, literally. But I really loved them. Lily and Ivy, that were their names. It's just cute. You know, if I could have chickens here, I would. But we live in town. Yeah, there are special rules, and I don't want rats, and so, you know, maybe one day when we don't live in town. This is one that I made, I stitched as a 5-inch, but what happened is that it actually was too big for the 5-inch hoop. So I've popped it, this one is popped into a 6-inch hoop, and I'm just realising that it's not very well centred, but it's not fixed. The only one that is fixed and finished is this one with felt. The other ones I don't, because I often have to reuse them for doing new photo shoots. And so I need to be able to remove them from the hoop and put them in a frame for the photo shoot. So this one is just really, it's nice and bright, and pretty much all the kits can be stitched in a weekend, or a week, so they make for really lovely quick gifts as well. I mean, this was in the middle of lockdown last year, and we've all had people who have meant a lot, who've really come alongside us during this time. I think this is just a lovely, you know, kind of lovely gift that can be stitched and given to someone who's meant a lot. So that was the thought, kind of the story behind that. And then, really excited, in when was it? September, October. I closed off over the summer. I closed the shop completely because my father passed away, as I mentioned earlier, and I was in France and just kind of sorting the house out and everything with my brothers and my sister. So the business went on hold completely. But out of that came this, I call it the Little House collection. It was the essence of home and the love of home. I love home. I've always been a home girl. You know, I love being outside, I love walks and everything, but I love home. I love homemaking. This little collection has really come out of my love of home. And so one of the, and I'm just doing seasonal patterns. One of the very first one was this one, Let's Get Cozy. So each design has a little home, different colours, and then just cuteness. So with these little confetti stitches, I just really like it. So this was one of the autumn ones. Then I did a winter one. And now this is this one is on cream white, kind of, it can be off-white Ada, but this one is specifically on navy blue because it stands out. Now here, and this is the first time I did this, was that I included metallic thread, which I coat before I use, what is it called, gloss, so for ease of stitching. And it's also a nice introduction if you haven't used metallic threads before, to how to use them and so on. It's all in the instructions, but it's mostly white, and with the silver and little snowman, orange hat. I mean, it's cute. I just love it. Then I told you I like to make jams. In January I make marmalade because that's when the Seville oranges are available in the shops, and these little orange slices and then confetti stitch in orange. So if you are a marmalade fan, you'll probably like this one. It's just, yeah, it's just real fun and very seasonal for January. And then this one I just really love. Candles and cups, hot chocolate, tea, coffee, whatever, herbal teas and blankets. So that's kind of the latest design, and this is also very much kind of very soft colours. That's the last one that I'm going to show you today, and I wanted to call this little section, Hope You Like It. So I really hope you like it, and let me know in the comments below what you think. They're not big designs. As I say, I like to keep it short, so it's a short project that can be gifted or quickly put up. So yeah, I like that. Now, something else that I do, I also sell needle minders, but I got in touch with a company in Dorset, Stockwell Ceramics, who actually do ceramic faces, and I buy the faces from them and then put the magnets and the beads on, and that is something that I sell in my shop, and I love these. I absolutely love these magnets. And this is, I'm not quite sure how best to show you. So it's got the magnet at the back, okay, and on the back magnet it has a bead, a glass bead, and then of course it just pops on the back. So I'm just trying to show you here. So I've got two polka dot hearts, a white one and white one with red spots, and then a red one with white spots. They're really cute. I love polka dots. Then I have a bee one. That has been very, very popular. Just a bee heart and a little bicycle. This goes with a design as well. Adventure awaits. So this is one that kind of they go together. Designed them that way. So that's really cute. And then Union Jack one. I love it. And this year is the Jubilee of the Queen, 75 years. So these are important to have in your stock. Before I close, I just have a question for you. Because I'm a librarian and I love books, I wondered if you would be interested in me doing kind of like a small book review, mainly stitchy books, so needlework, any kind of cross stitch, textile arts, of embroidery and so on. If you would be interested in me doing just a very short 3 minutes review of a book, older book or more recent book, I would love to do it, but I don't want to do something if you're not interested. So yeah, if you can just let me know below in the comments again. And also I forgot to say right at the beginning is that I'm planning to initially do this on a monthly basis. I'm just kind of wanting to see if I've got enough material to share, and if there's anything else that you would like to know or that you would like me to talk about, I'm all ears, and it would be a real pleasure to be able to answer some questions that you might have. I hope you really enjoyed this floss tube, and I will see you next time. So see you, bye.